Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel, back with some more gameplay tips. This time it's for the Guardian. Alright, so what I'm planning to do is do kind of like a class overview with a weapon overview, and then I'll go into some tips and some other interesting information that I think could be helpful for you, and hopefully it'll give you a better first time play experience than what I went through, because back then, things being so new, there wasn't much information out there on YouTube. So I want to share what I know with everyone else so they can, play the game a little bit better than I did when I first started. Okay, so the Guardian. What is it? What does it do? And why do people play it? Well, let me tell you. It's like a tank. There's a lot of different perks and stuff that you can equip that will allow you as a Guardian to survive pretty much almost anything, really. It's a pretty tanky class that I think would be really easy for a lot of people to kind of get started with the game when they play it. Alright, so let's talk about the class abilities, starting with like the passive one here. Passive ability, heavy armor. Additional padding and armor plates in your suit gives you better battlefield sustainability. So what it really boils down to for that is like you have more armor and health than any other class in this game. So right off the bat, it just tells you right here, like you're gonna be tanky. You're gonna take a lot of hits and keep on going. And for the activated ability, Siege Mode, so you enter Siege Mode to add weapon stability and to increase your defense. Alright, so when you activate your Siege Mode, so keyboard and mouse is going to be letter Q. On the controllers, I can only assume it'll be left button. Pretty sure it's the left button, but you'll need to double check your settings. Go to your settings, look for your key bindings. I'm sure it'll be mentioned somewhere. But I don't really know because I don't really play with the controllers. I don't really have a console. So yeah. But when you enter Siege Mode, you deploy like a bunch of shields around you. And when you deploy it, it'll help with your weapon recoil. It makes it more controllable. However, you cannot be pushed anymore. You can't move anywhere. And over time, the shields will be degraded because bugs are hitting it. I think you might be able to repair them. You have to double check that detail. But with Siege Mode, you can do a bunch of nifty little things with that, which we'll go over in just a little bit after we go through the weapons, utilities, grenades, and perks. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to what the class is and what it can kind of do by looking at the abilities. Let's actually take a look at the weapons. The stuff that comes native to the class, the ePulse 88 CSW. Every class will have access to the Merida 1. And where is the saw? Oh, here it is. The Merida Mark III saw. Now I can't remember if the auto shotgun comes with this class natively or if it comes natively through the Demolisher. I can't remember, but since I can't remember, we're gonna talk about it anyways, just to make sure. So, disclaimer here: I can't remember if the auto shotgun is native to this class. All right, so it's a full auto. I believe it's a slug firing shotgun. You get the reflex sight. You get a bug shot ammo. So what it does is like it changes one slug to 6 pellets. You lose 25% in your stagger damage, but your armor piercing rating becomes 3. So what's stagger? It's staggering the enemy causes them to stop moving and recoil backwards. And once a bug's stagger threshold is reached, you stun it, meaning now when you hit it, it's gonna kind of like stop moving for just a few seconds. So staggering is kind of like, you can kind of think of it like kind of like a drunk person trying to walk. It's kind of like that, or they struggling to like walk forward and things. But then when you hit them, like they just kind of freeze for a few seconds. That's when they get stunned. All right. So the next one is quick reload magazines. You get 30% reload speed, but I believe it comes at a cost of having a smaller magazine size. Whereas the extended magazine, you get plus 50% magazine size, but you lose 1 total magazine. The last one here is a hammer round. You lose 20% damage, but you get 50% extra stagger damage. Can stun smaller arachnids. So this just allows you to stun more often. Especially, yeah, I think you might see this happen a lot more frequently when you try to hit a something that has higher health, like a tiger or a royal guard. You'll be able to stun them faster because you're dealing more stagger damage. Okay. So hopefully that does come with the class. If not, sorry, I can't remember. It might be on the Demolisher. But where's the saw again? I just passed it. But the one that comes natively with this class, which I think is at level 1, is the saw. It's this game's version of the heavy machine gun that that a trooper can carry. So you get the reflex sight, you get the quick reload magazine and the extended magazines. You also get a compensator that helps with the recoil a little bit, and then you get hollow points. So hollow points is something where you can equip it and it makes your weak point modifier a little bit stronger, and it decreases the armor piercing rating a little bit. Armor piercing rating is described as how heavy is the armor penetration rating on this weapon. The higher it is, and if well, actually, let's take for example, if an arachnid that you shoot at has an armor rating of 4, you have an AP of 4 in your weapon, you're going to be doing like unmitigated damage to it. So if you match it or exceed it, you'll be doing unmitigated damage. However, if you had armor piercing rating of, for example, 2, you'll be dealing less damage because the armor is stronger than your armor piercing rating. However, with weak point, if you manage to hit it, you're going to be dealing, by the base value here, 1.25 times the damage. So that's what armor rating, armor piercing rating, and weak point is in this game. Every bug has its own specific armor value, and for the most part, You don't really need to worry about it all too much. Like, as long as you're hitting the bug, it's cool. But if you want an extra challenge of like aiming for the weak points, well, you might want to consider using the hollow point rounds. Yeah, don't worry about, you know, figuring out all the armor and things like that. Just as long as you're shooting the bug, it's okay. That's all that matters, is that you hit the bug in some way. Alright, so the next one is the ePulse 88 CSW. So anytime that you're using the ePulse family of weapons, just know that the range is going to be short to medium only, and then it has over penetration, meaning the bug that you hit in front is going to be able to hit something else behind it. And if the over penetration is like very high, you're going to be able to hit the thing behind the thing you just hit. Pretty crazy, right? So it's like a pretty heavy weapon. The recoil isn't too bad on it compared to like the saw. The saw has an insane amount of recoil, whereas the ePulse 88 not so bad. But what about the mods? Stabilized sabos, you get plus 50% projectile range. You just lose one magazine to work with. So this definitely helps out with increasing the range on this weapon. It actually allows you to reach out and hit a gunner that's a little bit beyond medium range. It's like very useful. I use it all the time. Next one is the Flechette Sabos. It's kind of like hollow points where it increases the weak point modifier but has like some kind of drawback. In this case, for this weapon, you get minus 20% punch through damage. You have access to quick reload magazines and an extended magazine. You get DAX module. It increases the fire rate by 50%. You lose 20% damage, 20% punch through damage, and you minus 20% projectile range. I'm not a big fan of this because it's making this weapon an even shorter ranged weapon, which can be hard to deal with if there's like a lot of stuff beyond your reach. So it can kind of make the game a little bit boring if you always have to wait for a closer range target or you're getting outsniped by a gunner. Next one is the super capacitor. Plus 100 punch through rate damage, but you get minus 10% fire rate. The minus 10% fire rate isn't too bad, it's not that noticeable. So if you're really looking to do like massive penetration damage to something behind your initial target, go with a super capacitor. Secondary weapons. The ones that are native to this class is the Peacemaker and the Emancipator. Let's talk about the Peacemaker first. It's a semi-automatic rifle, or why did I say rifle? Semi-automatic pistol. I can't talk. But with the Peacemaker, you know, it shoots fast. It's great at close range, but as soon as it starts getting to like medium range, it's not going to perform very well. It doesn't feel like it's super accurate for me. Like it goes off in wild directions. And just not overall, I'm not a big fan of this pistol. It's not going to stop a bug from like walking up to you and like eating you. Unlike the Emancipator, it can. But before we move on, let's talk about the mods. So it gets a reflex sight, extended magazines, and a quickly reload magazines. You get an FMJ round, which we haven't seen yet. This increases the weak point modifier, makes it a little bit weaker. So that's the downside, but the plus to it is that it makes the armor piercing rating a little bit higher. So yeah, and then it gets the hollow point rounds, which we already talked about. Next one is the Emancipator. This is by far the best pistol in the game. It's great at all ranges, but excels spectacularly at long range. So if you have a short range primary, and you're getting gunned down by gunners, you should really consider using the Emancipator. So the Emancipator, if you've played, like Counter-Strike, CS 1.6, it's like the Deagle, the Desert Eagle. This thing has a bit of a recoil to it. However, it's very, very controllable. Hits hard, stuns bugs, and stuns warriors in like one hit, and it can stun the other bugs after you shoot it enough times. Yeah, this thing is fantastic. A lot of people use it. It's by far one of the most popular pistols. Yeah, modifications. You get the reflex sight, extended mags, and quick reload mags, and you get the FMJ rounds. So yeah, I love using this thing. It's just so good. The utilities that you have available to this class are the shock field device. So inside of this thing, this container, there's a bunch of little shock beacons, and when they deploy, they kind of like shoot out, and then like into the air, and then they create like this spider web looking electric field, and anytime a bug enters that electric field, they get instantly stunned for 5 seconds. This electrical web is 7 meters wide, and it lasts for 60 seconds. It's really good for defending a fixed position, slowing bugs down in a choke point, or slow them down in a kill zone. A very useful defensive tool in your arsenal. Next one is the deployable shield. So with this thing, you can have up to 3 on the field. You can get 3 more when you go to an ammo crate and refill on your utilities. But if you deploy any more than that, they start to disappear one by one. These can be repaired during combat. They can draw a little bit of aggro from the bugs, but it's a nice thing to kind of slow the bugs down and help reinforce the base, or even help you make a defensive barrier when you're out in the field, like defending a fixed point such as a refinery or a generator. Now this one here, the portable sentry turret, it's one of the most popular utilities that people like using. It's like a automated machine gun turret, 35 meter radius, so anything that goes in 35 meters is gonna pew pew shoot at it. This also will target traitors and will eliminate them. And then when it runs out of ammo, it blows itself up, thus hopefully taking some bugs down with it. The grenades, let's talk about the basic one first. So if you want to use the basic one, it's pretty good. If a group of warrior bugs are clustered tightly together, like say for example 4 of them, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be able to kill all 4 of them. It's great damage, and it takes 3 seconds to go off. Oh, by the way, this is the same grenade, I believe, as the one that Johnny Rico uses to kill the tanker. The shock grenade. This one's... you could think of it as like the stun grenade from Call of Duty. Explodes on contact. Very high stun. It does low damage. It can one-hit kill drones and bombardiers. So pretty cool, useful defensive thing to use in your arsenal. Next one is a cluster grenade. So within each of these panels is a mini grenade that will fire off and create its own small blast radius. Great to stun bugs with. However, it kind of can be a little hard to use sometimes because it needs a lot of vertical air in order to get maximum coverage. If you throw it horizontally, it doesn't always give you the best blast effects. Better to throw it up a little bit higher than you need to. The perks. We're just going to go left to right, then we'll go do the bomb. Lead line plates. Oops, nope. I don't know why I was holding on to it. We're going to talk about the synthetic Under Armour. It halves damage taken from melee bug attacks. Bug pheromones. It'll make you pull aggro, so bugs will be more willing to prioritize you as a target. Magazine bandolier. This is pretty standard for all the classes. It just gives you more magazines. Hardened ceramic plates. It halves all damage taken from ranged bug attacks. Utility satchel is also another one of those perks that's available to all the classes. It just gives you +1 to all your utilities. And then the last one is the regenerative matrix. It provides an additional health pool that regenerates over time. You just need to be outside of combat. It's kind of like the energy shield from the Halo games. Or it doesn't have the cool sound effect that it makes in that game. But if you look at your HUD, it should show you like a small blue bar above your health pool, and that's what that is. Next one is Fighting Retreat. You get +33% backwards movement speed. You get +50% hip fire recoil reduction. However, it can only be used when you're at below 50% health. Utility utilization adds 1 to all your utilities. You just build and repair things a lot slower. It's like -50% speed. And then after that is lead-lined plates, +33% damage resistance to all damage sources, -33% jump height, -50% climb speed. So you're going to be mantling extremely slow, and I never use lead-lined plates because I want to be mobile. I always suffer from the mantling bug. Like, it works less than half the time. And if I have to deal with a 50% reduced climb speed, well, that's just going to make the game really nutty for me. So that's why I won't use it. But kudos to people that don't have that issue. And man, this thing very useful. It'll allow other classes to tank 1 hit from a Tiger or a Royal Guard and still have a little bit health left to run away. Alright, so that's all the weapons, primary, secondary, utility, grenades, and perks. Now let's actually move back into the siege mode and offer some gameplay tips for that. So for the siege mode, if the bugs are really close to you, within like touching distance, if you deploy it, it's gonna knock them back just a little bit. It also stuns them for a few seconds. and when it's deployed, it'll prevent you from being pushed back. So, what does that mean? It means that when you, for example, see someone that's been downed by the bugs, you can run up to them, deploy the siege mode, and then the bugs will get knocked back a little bit, they'll get stunned, and other bugs come in and try to punch you, they won't push you away. And then if you're on top of the trooper, you can revive them pretty much safely at this point. Because like all the bugs in that immediate vicinity were knocked back a little bit and they've been stunned. However, there are some drawbacks. You are actually super vulnerable to grenadiers, infernos, and bombardiers because most likely by the time you notice things being aimed at you and you get out of the siege mode, you pretty much kind of perish already. Especially for bombardiers, sometimes they land directly on your head or they land on a portion of the shield that you're not looking at currently. And sometimes they land on the other side of your shield where you got a blind spot. You can't see anything immediately next to it. And those things, Plasma Grenadier and Bombardiers can one-hit kill even the tank, right? The Guardian's pretty tanky, but it's not that tanky. Also, for Infernos, by the time you get out of the siege mode, most likely you're like in the edge or even like the center of the fireball blast. Well, sometimes if your health is low enough, you'll die to the lingering flame effects that are on you. So those are just some things you need to watch out for. Don't camp in your siege mode indefinitely. You need to kind of look around and keep an eye out for those kind of dangerous situations. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we kind of want to go over is like, what kind of Guardian do you want to play as? Do you want to play as one that pulls a lot of aggro, or are you looking for something that's like super tanky, where you can just survive an endless wave of bugs, right? I personally like trying to play as like a super tanky tank. I want to survive, so let's go over that stuff first. A good thing to use is the shock field device, and then deploying these extra shields around you, which will give the bugs something extra to chew on before they try to mess with you. Another really good one is the synthetic under armor, because remember, like we're saying, it halves the damage from melee attacks. The hardened ceramic plates are also really good because it halves the damage from ranged bug attacks. And I really like using the regenerative matrix because it gives you that extra health pool, which can be recovered over time when you're not in combat. However, the honorable mention here is the lead-lined plates because it does give you that plus 33% damage resistance to all damage types. However, like I was saying earlier, you can't jump as high and your climbing speed, the mantling speed, is reduced by 50%. Well, alright, so that's the kind of style of play that I like to play as. But what about like aggro? How can you draw aggro in this class? Well, that's equipping the portable sentry turret. And when this thing's deployed, it'll kind of attract the bug's attention, right? Because it's shooting at the bugs. You place it next to yourself, will allow the bugs to come towards both it and you. The other thing that you can use is the bug pheromones. The bug pheromones will have the bugs prioritize you as a more appealing target. So if you want to, draw their fire away from other people, this is probably the perk that you want to equip. I don't use it because I like trying to stay alive. Alright, so that's two styles of play, being the super tanky tank versus pulling aggro to yourself. Alright, let's talk about your position on the battlefield. So typically you want to be like on the front lines of where all the action is. You're also very good at defending a fixed objective. Say, for example, if you are defending a refinery and you notice that there's depending on the map, there might be like a crevice that all the bugs are coming in, and they're kind of like funneling in one direction. You can like situate yourself in that spot where like you kind of plug that hole up so that they stop coming through there like uncontested. You're also really good at like camping in breached zones of the base. If you do that, you're buying the team time to repair and rebuild the structures that were destroyed by the bugs. So that's kind of like the positions you want to take on the battlefield. Either up close in the bug's face, defending a fixed position, or yeah, I think that's all you can really excel at. I mean, you can stay in the middle of the group, but I guess that kind of depends if you want to be like super defensive or aggressive with your style of gameplay. I personally like being in the front line, so I can like get in the bug's face and take a couple of hits, kill some bugs and then retreat, so I can like heal up, because eventually you do go down. So yeah. Okay, let's talk about loadout recommendations if you've already unlocked everything. So if you're at the point where you unlocked everything, you're ready to like start experimenting, you might want to check this part out. For the native weapons, I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of the weapons that are native to the Guardian. They got a lot of good staples, like the saw is the signature weapon for the Guardian. You can't really go wrong with that. But what I like playing with on this class is the auto shotgun. Let's see, let's select that. Let's see. Can't remember which one I liked playing with the most. Well, it's kind of a toss-up. I do like how this thing can stun more. I think I'd play that a little bit more often than like dealing a little more damage. Because, well, I guess you actually do lose damage to this, but I guess you won't be able to stun as much with this thing. That's okay. I always use the extended magazines because I have to reload less frequently, and the reflex sight will just help me get a clearer sight on a bug. Another one that I really like playing with on this class is the flamethrower. This thing is just super fun to use. I just like seeing the bugs catch on fire. I like using a hybrid igniter because you spend less fuel to attack bugs, go with short controlled bursts. But if you're if you see a big crowd of bugs or you need to have something die a little faster, you just hold down the trigger. However, you'll be dealing less damage to a bug corpse, but even with this damage reduction, I feel like it consumes just about the same amount of fuel than if you left it off or used the turbojet nozzle. Yeah, not a big difference from what I can tell. I don't usually use the turbojet nozzle because I find like the fuel efficiency to be better. But for the turbojet nozzle, jeez, what the hell's wrong with my mouse? It does give plus 40% slowdown on enemies when you're actively flaming them with a flamethrower. It does come at a cost of adding plus 15% fuel consumption. You got high capacity tanks to get plus 50% fuel capacity per tank. You just lose one tank in your reserves. Lightweight tanks, you get plus 50% movement speed while firing. I'm not 100% sure if your fuel tank size is smaller because of that. Cause it's kind of like quick reload magazines. Like you just have a little bit less to work with. Yeah. The next one I recommend is like the ePulse 88 with the stabilized sabos, the extended mags, and the super capacitor. I've had a lot of fun with this, just hitting multiple bugs at the same time. Super fun on horde mode when you have to just sit in one spot where all the bugs are coming in. Super fun to use, and you can't really go wrong with a ePulse 88. Alright, so that's it for this one. Hopefully that kind of gives you a better idea of like how this class functions, kind of like what to do. Maybe some of these tips you've already heard about, but hey, that's okay. This is like meant for everybody to use, new veterans, old troopers, or even new troopers to the game. Well, that's all for me now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll let you know when other videos are going up, and you never know, you might find a different game that you like watching me play, and you might have a lot of fun watching. Until then, thank you for your time, and I will see you all in the battlefield. Catch you next time, troopers.